being a coach and being a guide to people. When I really claimed that, just everything fell into place. I don't help people personally.
Okay.
And when I realized it was all connected, that if you want to communicate effectively externally, you got to communicate effectively internally. If you want to communicate effectively internally, then you have to have a leadership of self.
It's quite another.
It is a whole nother thing. Yes.
To stay engaged with people for you and me now going on 5 years or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. One thing that I've noticed, and I don't think we've ever maybe specified it or called it this, but you, like me, when I started my consulting coaching business, I was doing a lot of custom stuff. So I remember people would come to me and they'd say, "Hey, Michelle, can you help me with this?" And the answer was always yes. Yes, I can help you with this. Let me put a proposal together. And I spent a lot of time listening to people, creating proposals, writing proposals, following up on proposals, and every proposal was completely different. Every single client had a different price tag, had a different, and that was a fine way for me to get started. It was exhausting though, and it kept me doing the work I didn't enjoy doing. And so what I learned for myself was custom versus codified, or even better, maybe custom versus course-ified. Right? In the beginning, I had programs that I started doing, but what I saw you do was you turned your offering into a course.
Yeah.
And that was a big shift for you because it became much, much simpler, I remember, for you to start selling because you had this one thing that you were focused on. It was this course that had a very specific outcome. You are going to learn how to become more influential. You're going to learn how to influence up in your organization. You're going to learn how to influence down, and you're going to learn how to influence all around.
Right.
And that was a huge breakthrough.
Yeah, and it was also it also really helped me, I don't want to say settle into it. You know, I wasn't, I could do this, I could do that.
Stay focused.
Stay focused. Stay in there. And we really haven't talked about this much, but after you do my course, then I have a Backend program. And so people who want to continue the work then can stay with me for a year. And I have another group of people who have been through the course and then stay with me. And often those are the people that will hire me then to go inside their organizations because of the high level of trust that we have. And they understand and they are embodying these techniques and they're working.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm going to guess that they also are a good source of referrals for you of new people into the course.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And the work that I'm doing now is so different than I ever expected to do and so awesome. When I really claimed this idea of being a coach and being a guide to people, when I really claimed that, just everything fell into place.
Wow. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by when you really claimed that? Was there resistance? What was going on before?
I feel there was some resistance, I work with people with marketing. I don't help people personally.
Okay.
And when I realized it was all connected, that if you want to communicate effectively externally, you got to communicate effectively internally. If you want to communicate effectively internally, then you have to have a leadership of self, right? How do I lead and communicate with myself? Yes. And so moving more and more and more, because I used to say, our messages shape our reality, but then what I realized, no, our thoughts shape our words shape our reality. I was starting with the words. Now I start with the thoughts, right?
Yes.
So going up to this higher level, and from there, because we are a collection of the stories that we tell about ourselves. Organizations are a collection of the stories they tell about themselves. So we have to shift our story, our internal story, so who we are, so we can shift organizationally. And I found so much power in that, and that really helped people in a way that I just hadn't witnessed. It's just the more I did it, the more I loved it, and the higher quality of client I attracted. And they're just in it and loving it and doing the work. And it's great to see the connections they make with each other. And I'm sure you see that too.
Yes.
I know you, but there's so many people that are my closest friends, that I met through you. And I get to see that, now people are so connected and they met through me.
Yes.
That's so cool.
So powerful.
It's so cool.
Yeah, which kind of brings me full circle almost to what I lead with is like where we're kind of ending up this conversation is the big back end. Like the when I started my business 15 years ago and well into my 7th year of business, I had no back end, no big back end. When I say big back end, I mean something that where you're building a community, you're building a culture, you're building a group, a tribe of people who are invested and investing over time, like monthly recurring revenues, yes, from a business perspective, and even more importantly, invested from a personal perspective. They're showing up every week, they're doing the work together, they're supporting each other. That for me was the biggest breakthrough in my business, was just the act of focusing on that, stabilized revenues, and forced me, invited me, encouraged me to step up into leadership in a new way. Because it's one thing to have a business where you're constantly marketing and getting new people and serving them and then leaving, see ya. It's quite another.
It is a whole nother thing. Yes.
To stay engaged with people for you and me now going on 5 years or 4 years. Exactly. It's quite a different thing. And it's challenging. There are challenges. And it's one of the most rewarding things I've done for my personal development, my spiritual development, my fulfillment, and my financial development. I'm curious what you think about that.
Yeah, I definitely feel like creating this community has stabilized revenue, helped me grow as a leader. And even when I work with organizations and I work with them over the long term, staying with them through, because it's scary to communicate more effectively, to have a strong message can be really scary. And so I can just go give them that and give them a plan and go, or I can stay with them and guide them through the whole experience. It's such a different thing to be able to be with people instead of like, okay, I'm going to do this and then go out. And that can work, and I'm not saying it doesn't work, but what I saw was much more powerful was like walking people and walking with them and as a partner to them.
Thank you, Maryanne. That was super valuable information. I know that my watchers are going to love it. And if you want to go even deeper, I highly recommend checking out Maryanne's podcast. It's called The Influential Nonprofit.
I stay in financial integrity, and that's what's really helped me, and especially working in the industry that I serve.
Which I imagine in your industry, you come up against a lot of that scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It is. It's shifting. It is pretty pervasive, and it's shifting. I do see some movement in the industry as far as understanding. We were taught to believe that there's only so much money for philanthropy, so you better get your slice of the pie. And people are realizing, wait, that's kind of a story we got told,